Now, as we had earlier highlighted in our news, it is a desperate situation in public hospitals across the country. And joining us now live in studio to shed more light on the crippling industrial dispute, including possible ways out of the crisis, is Medical Services Minister Professor Peter Anyang Nyong'o. Waziri, welcome to Citizen Weekend.
Thank you.
Right, Waziri, it's a critical condition, as you are well aware. What is the position currently with regard to health workers? Are they sacked at this hour? Do they have jobs?
Look, the position is very simple. We met on Sunday with the union, which is the Union of Kenya Civil Servants, in the presence of the leaders of the society, because the society had called a strike. And under law, a society cannot call a strike. So they went to the union to help them. The union said, fine, we shall take over the issue since you're our members. I contacted the union leadership. I said, fine, let's meet and discuss this issue. Because you need to know the facts. We had a whole day's meeting on Sunday. We put the facts before the union leader, Secretary General Tom Odege, in the presence of leaders of the society. And we said, look, these are the facts. We've been meeting since the beginning of the year. And on 12th of January, the government wrote a letter giving offers which are being implemented. The society raised certain issues which the government fine said, let's discuss the issues and see how we implement them. So the union said that this is very good. So said, what's the latest offer from the government? We told them we just received a letter from the Ministry of Public Service making these following offers. This letter we have to take to the Treasury, because the Treasury has the money. Once there's concurrence with the Treasury, we shall do it. But surely you have to give government time, because money does not fall from manna from heaven. Government has a process of getting money from the exchequer. Because it's not just the Ministry of Medical Services that the Treasury looks after, it's the whole government. The union said, together with the leaders of the society, okay, this is very good, we made progress, let us have structured discussions. So I said, fine, choose your members, the ministry chooses members, let's begin structured discussion from Wednesday. In the meantime, let workers go back to work because Kenyans are suffering. Yes. They agreed that indeed they will go back to work on Monday. And we signed a back-to-work agreement. You remember the press conference that we had? And the back-to-work agreement signed by the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Medical Services, Permanent Secretary, Minister of Public Health and Sanitation, and Union of Kenya Civil Servants on behalf of the workers, said very simply, President Honorable Peter Anyang Nyong'o, Minister for Medical Services, Ms. Mary Ngari, Permanent Secretary, Minister of Medical Services, Mr. Mark Bor, Permanent Secretary, Minister of Public Health and Sanitation, Mr. Tom Odege, Secretary General, Union of Kenya Civil Servants, the Minister for Medical Services and Secretary General of the Union of Kenya Civil Servants, Civil Servants, agreed on the following as the return to work formula once the strike is called off.
Okay, so the strike has not been called off.
Just a minute.
All right.
Because people in the press are impatient to get facts.
Okay.
And you get half the facts, feed them to the public, and make the situation worse.
All right, go ahead.
One, that no healthcare worker who took part in the strike shall be intimidated or victimized. Two, that both parties agree to constitute a working committee to convene on the 7th of March 2012 to begin discussions of the outstanding issues in a structured manner. Three, that the content of the discussions held on the 5th of December 2011 between the two ministries of health be adhered to and addressed adequately to the letter and spirit. Four, that the issues pending in court be fast-tracked by the parties involved. Five, that the disparities raised in the payment of extraneous allowance be addressed in the working committee meetings. That was signed. And we agreed that the workers would call off that strike on Monday and go back to work the meeting will be held on Wednesday, and things will go on. Instead of that happening, when the leaders went back to report to their members, the members decided that they did not agree with the back to work formula. They purported to have elected new leaders, and these new leaders on Wednesday afternoon, after we had the meeting in the morning, came up with some document which didn't even have letterheads, purporting that they were new leaders, making new demands, and demanding that the government honors these demands immediately. Now this is anarchy, this is not order. We must have a country that is run on the basis of law and order. You can't just wake up one morning deciding that you are leading some union, give ultimata to government, and expect government to respect that. That is not law and order at all.
So if you'll allow me, Waziri, there was a communication breakdown somewhere.
There was no communication breakdown. There was very clear communication, written documents. I've come with a whole file that goes back to December last year, showing quite clearly the progress that we've been making in these discussions with both the society, the union, and government. And somebody decides to be an anarchist, some people from nowhere. By the way, to discuss with government, it takes some process. First of all, you as a union must be recognized by government, because we don't want Al-Shabaab coming to the ministry and say we represent so and so. To get access to government documents means that we have somebody who has been cleared, because government documents are government documents, that not anybody can come to the ministry and say I'm a leader of that society and I will sit down with them and transact business. No, government does not work that way.
All right. So where do we stand as of
What
now?
we stand today, and I said it very clearly, in the notice that was in the papers, and by the way, please read those notices. Don't create your own. I said very clearly that workers, it was agreed they go back to work on Monday. Anybody who does not go back to Monday shall lose their jobs, because hospitals need services. Lives are being lost. Mothers are arriving at dispensaries wanting to give birth. They are blocked at the gate by the nurses and they die. And you tell me these are health workers with no values, commitment, and proper attitudes? This country cannot be run like this. I'm sorry. I have to be very frank.
So should the health workers return to work?
They should go back to work. We have said if you go back to work, you'll get your job. If you stay out there, you'll be sacked because you're not working. And you have to be reasonable. You can't expect government to bembeleza you all the time and then to pay you a salary for running on the street. That is not government. That is something else.
Therefore, that means, coming from the minister, you've had it, he says, should you return to work on Monday, then your job is still...
Yeah, but you will not be paid for the days you have kept out of work because you are not working. You must earn your keep. The government is not giving you a Christmas present, no. The government is paying you for work done. And the government can only deal with a process that is legal. The strike was rendered illegal by the courts, and you cannot just disobey the courts like that. We have the rule of law in this country and a constitution to go by. You can't just decide that the court said the thing is illegal and you continue with it. Government cannot run that way, I'm sorry.
I do agree with you, Waziri, that it is ultimately the patients who are suffering in our public hospitals.
Yeah, but you must hold those people responsible. You can't, we do all we can in government to make this thing work, and then somebody just decides to obey it, and you still turn around blaming the government. That is not reasonable at all. It is not reasonable.
All right, Waziri, thank you very much for your time. I believe your message has been heard.
By the way, have this so that you have facts.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Waziri. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
That's Medical Services Minister Professor Anyang Nyong'o, and he has spoken to us regarding the current strike by health workers, and he has made it clear that should health workers return to work Monday, that they will still have their jobs. And that means that the current crisis that we are facing as a country regarding services in our public hospitals will come to an end. All right, we're up for a break now, but we'll be back after a short while. Don't go too far.
Mr. Anyang Nyong'o, who is the Honorable Minister Anyang Nyong'o, called a mass action. He is there because of mass action. And here he is calling us criminals, when we are demanding our rights.
What professor is he?
What professor is he?
Yeah.